Welcome to Monster Trailcams, where curiosity stirs and the unexpected thrives. Here, our global community shares footage of the unexplainable, the eerie, and the intriguing creatures that hide in plain sight. We are your hub for bizarre and fascinating finds caught on camera. Click subscribe and join us on this journey of unraveling the world's unseen mysteries. Prepare to be thrilled. This is Monster Trailcams, where the wild remains wild. The YouTuber known as Paranormal Nomad recently uploaded a video that's definitely worth checking out. He captured the footage in a snowy cemetery, and it was well past dark when he was filming. Now,
it's playing tricks on me? I could have sworn I saw the arm go up. Whoa, wait, no way.
what's particularly intriguing is when he zooms in on a statue. He himself starts to question if the statue's arm might have moved just a tiny bit. The video quality isn't the best. It's a bit grainy and blurry, making it tough to tell what's really going on. That said, Paranormal Nomad is known for exploring graveyards all on his own, so you've got to give him credit for venturing into such an eerie setting. But back to the footage. When you watch it closely, it does sort of seem like the statue's arm shifts ever so slightly. Now, it could just be our eyes playing tricks on us. Or maybe the grainy quality of the video is making us see things that aren't really there. But if you're not totally convinced, feel free to hit that replay button and take another look. There's definitely something unsettling about this capture, so go ahead, watch it again, and decide for yourself what you think is going on. A YouTuber recently captured some pretty intriguing footage while they were out boating on a river in Putumayo, Colombia. In the video, you can clearly see something, some kind of movement or disturbance, going on in the water as the boat cruises by. It's weird, right? And get this, you can even hear a guy in the background speculating that it might be a gigantic fish causing those ripples. I mean, what else could make water move like that? Now, the person holding the camera did try to get a closer look, but here's the thing. The water was just too murky to really see what's lurking underneath. You could barely make anything out. So, it remains a mystery. A lot of people who watch the video have their own theories. Some think it could just be a floating log being carried by the river's current. But if you ask me, the way that thing seemed to speed up in the water doesn't really make it look like any ordinary log. Others have come up with even wilder ideas, like maybe it's a humongous alligator hiding beneath the surface. Some have even suggested that it could be an anaconda or something like the Loch Ness Monster. Can you believe that? So what's really going on here? Is this some natural phenomenon we can easily explain away with science, or is it something else entirely? The video has definitely got people talking, and it's sparking a ton of speculation. So if you've got a theory or maybe a logical explanation, we're all ears. The video of this football match was filmed in Germany and later made its way onto Reddit, capturing the attention of users all over the world. Now, if you take a good look at the clip, you'll notice the crowd is absolutely buzzing. They're super pumped and making a ton of noise. But what's really interesting, and a bit alarming, is that they seem totally unaware that the part of the stadium right above is actually shifting and bouncing up and down. Believe it or not, the fans right under this shaky structure don't appear to have any clue that something's not quite right. It's almost as if they're too caught up in the excitement of the game to notice that the stadium itself is joining in on the action, but in a way that could potentially be dangerous. Someone in the comments section made an interesting point. Maybe the stadium was engineered to withstand such extreme movements and vibrations, like it's designed to flex a little without collapsing. However, if you zoom in and really scrutinize the footage, you'll see that it almost looks like the whole thing is on the verge of giving way. Can you just imagine the chaos that would erupt if that actually happened? It would be a nightmare scenario for sure. So here's a question for you. If you were there, right in the thick of it, with the crowd going wild and the structure above you bouncing like it was dancing to its own beat, would you stick around and keep cheering, or would you get the heck out of there? In 2019, a YouTuber heard about a mysterious and reportedly haunted cemetery in Georgia, known as the Shadow Cemetery. According to eyewitness accounts, shadowy figures have been spotted wandering around the graves and lurking in the vicinity. Intrigued by these claims and eager to investigate them himself, the YouTuber decided to take a trip to this unsettling location. Once he arrived, he began to explore the wooded areas surrounding the cemetery. As he was panning his camera across the landscape, he noticed something odd in the distance. If you take the time to slow down the footage from his video, you'll see a dark figure standing amidst the bushes. Oddly enough, he didn't notice this at first. As night began to fall, he continued his investigation of the cemetery. It was then that he and his team suddenly saw another shadow figure.
Hello? Look, guys, look. Is that the tree? Oh, yeah.
This one was peering out from the bushes directly in front of them. What made it even more startling was that the figure seemed to float before vanishing quickly into the night. People who have watched the video were genuinely shocked by what they saw. This raises the chilling question, could this dark figure have been following the investigators from the moment they set foot in the cemetery? This intriguing photograph was taken back in 1950 by Abby Rowe, who was a photographer for the National Park Service. The photo is in black and white and shows what looks like a ghostly figure of a human standing in the basement of the White House. The figure appears towards the back of an area that was under construction at the time. Now here's where it gets interesting. No one really noticed this so-called apparition until 2008. A guy from Missouri named Bob Martin spotted it when he was reading David McCullough's award-winning biography of President Truman, which actually won a Pulitzer Prize. Because this mysterious figure is seen standing right below the Lincoln bedroom, some people believe it might be a real photograph of President Abraham Lincoln's ghost. And you know what? Lincoln's ghost has been the stuff of White House legend for years. Multiple presidents and their families have reported seeing Lincoln's spirit wandering the hallways of the presidential residence. However, not everyone's convinced it's a ghost. I've heard from photographers who think there might be a simpler explanation. One suggested that the figure could be the result of a low ISO setting on the camera, which can sometimes create strange effects in a photograph. Another photographer thinks that the figure might just be a trick of the light, playing off the pattern of the stone wall in the basement. So, what do you think? Is it a genuine sighting of Lincoln's ghost, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation? You know, we've seen our fair share of UFOs pop up now and then. Most of the time they show up when the night sky is as clear as glass, or even in broad daylight with the sun shining down. But this recent sighting, man, it's a whole different ballgame. Believe it or not, this UFO decided to make its grand entrance during a thunderstorm. So here's how it all went down. An Instagram user uploaded a video that's got people buzzing like crazy. What's even crazier is that it looks like the person who captured this incredible footage was actually cruising down the highway in a moving car when it happened. But hold on, because it gets even more intriguing. Just as a bolt of lightning illuminates the sky like some kind of cosmic flashlight, this UFO suddenly appears and starts hovering in midair. I mean, it's like it materialized out of thin air. Now, as you can imagine, the video has led to all kinds of wild speculation. Some people are saying that the UFO might be tapping into the energy of the thunderstorm or the lightning bolt itself. You know how we plug our phones into a wall outlet to juice them up? They're suggesting it might be something like that, but on a cosmic scale. It's like the UFO's own personal charging station or something. But of course, not everyone's buying it. There are skeptics in the mix too. A couple of people in the comments have started raising eyebrows, claiming the lightning in the video looks a bit sketchy. They're saying it could be fake, possibly whipped up with some computer graphics. So there you have it. Whether it's a genuine sighting or just some well-done special effects, this UFO video is definitely stirring the pot and giving us all something to talk about. An Instagram video has been making the rounds and catching a lot of attention. In the clip, the camera is positioned high up, perhaps in a building, capturing an ambulance driving on the street below. At first, everything seems normal, but if you pause and look a bit more carefully, something unusual stands out. There's this nearly transparent, white, wispy shape that appears to emerge from the ambulance. It drifts across the street, moving in the opposite direction of the vehicle. It's got people wondering, could this be the spirit of someone who was inside the ambulance? Or on a darker note, could it be some malevolent entity trying to claim the soul of the person inside? What's your take on it? Yet another UFO sighting has caught our attention. A user on TikTok recently shared a captivating video that showcased a mysterious, bright light illuminating the evening sky. As dusk settled in, this brilliant light became even more prominent against the backdrop of the darkening horizon. What's puzzling is how abruptly the light behaves. At one point, it momentarily disappears, only to re-emerge higher in the sky than its original position. You might wonder, how can it possibly move that swiftly? Indeed, if we consider the possibility of it being an aircraft, it seems implausible for it to shift so quickly, almost in the blink of an eye. But the light didn't stop there. As viewers watch with bated breath, the light does something even more astonishing. It seemingly divides into two. Shortly after, a third light emerges, and just as the footage is about to conclude, one of these three orbs appears to flicker in and out of visibility, defying any logical reasoning. While it's a sight that will undoubtedly captivate many, the truth behind these luminous anomalies remains a mystery. We can only speculate and wonder about the forces or entities behind their erratic movements in the sky. Many pet owners hold a deep-seated belief in the afterlife. The story of one Redditor may serve to reinforce this belief, especially for those who have captured what they perceive as tangible evidence on video. In this particular footage, we see a lone dog named Shiloh. Shiloh appears to be waiting for something, with his attention captured by an unseen presence. The video shows him standing, as if at attention, before a security camera. The intensity of his gaze and the anticipation evident in his body language creates a sense of expectation. Soon after, Shiloh's demeanor changes dramatically. The once still and focused dog is now seen gleefully frolicking, as if suddenly reunited with a long-lost playmate. His joy and exuberance are infectious and somewhat mystifying. Then, as if to explain his sudden change in behavior, a faint, fast-moving shadow can be seen on the footage, brushing up against the animated dog. Curious about the commotion outside, a family member decides to investigate. Upon stepping outside, he's immediately struck by an unusually cold breeze concentrated in the very area where the alleged apparition had been detected. This, along with Shiloh's peculiar behavior, leads to speculations. Many pet owners propose a touching theory. They believe that the fleeting shadow could be the spirit of Caden, a beloved dog who had passed away. Shiloh's reaction to the mysterious shadow appears to be one of recognition and familiarity, adding credibility to this theory. It's as if he is reuniting with an old friend, unseen by human eyes but clearly perceived by him. This scenario resonates with the belief that animals possess a sort of sixth sense, an ability to perceive and interact with elements beyond our human understanding. Perhaps in this instance, Shiloh is demonstrating his ability to connect with his old friend Caden, who might just be visiting from the other side. There's this YouTube video from Japan that's been catching a lot of attention lately. It was shot on an overcast and somewhat gloomy day. But what's really grabbing everyone's attention is this mysterious object up in the sky. The person who uploaded the video managed to spot something floating way up there. It's too distant to clearly identify, but you can definitely see that it's oval-shaped, which is quite different from your typical aircraft. Instead of zipping around or following a specific route, this thing seems to be just hovering in one place, without any clear direction. It's not moving much at all. Makes you wonder, could this be another piece of evidence pointing towards a possible visit from extraterrestrial beings? A curious video clip emerged on TikTok, uploaded by a user whose identity remains undisclosed. The exact location of where this event took place is a bit of a mystery, but clues in the video suggest it might be somewhere in southwest Colombia. From the very start of the video, a palpable sense of urgency grips the viewer. We watch as multiple individuals, clearly agitated, scramble to climb the side of a building. As the camera pans upward, it briefly captures the cause of the commotion, a peculiar black shape seemingly in motion atop the roof. At first glance, it's difficult to discern the details of this shadowy figure. However, with a bit of image enhancement, like brightening the footage, the movement becomes unmistakable. There's definitely something, or someone, there. The person who posted the video believes that this eerie presence is a bruha. For those unfamiliar with the term, brujas hold a significant place in Latin American and Afro-Caribbean folklore. They are often considered practitioners of magic, somewhat similar to what we might think of as witches in European traditions. The mysticism surrounding brujas is a melting pot of influences, drawing from African magical practices, European spiritualism, and Taino indigenous beliefs. This results in a rich and varied spiritual tapestry, where a bruja might be viewed as either benevolent or malevolent, depending on their intentions and actions. Historically, the Catholic Church has often viewed such practices with suspicion, if not outright hostility. This has led to demonization and at times persecution, pushing many of these magical practices and their practitioners to the edges of society. Given this background, it's perhaps less surprising to see the intense reaction of the locals in the video. They seem deeply unsettled, possibly convinced that an evil witch, a malevolent bruja, is lurking right above them on the rooftops. This video, like many others on social platforms, raises as many questions as it answers.
That wraps it up for this episode. If you want more of this type of content, then consider subscribing. This is Donovan Dredd signing off. Take care, everyone.